And what were the ideals of the war that you had before you enlisted?
Well, I think before I enlisted, I thought that the war was going to be glamorous or cool, or kind of like what you see in the movies, etc. And also thought that we'd be able to, the U.S. Army and America can kind of solve any problem there needs to be. And so when I went in and was actually there fighting and prepping and training and all that, you realize that it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of non-glamorous stuff. And 90% of the time it's pure boredom, and 10% of the time it's some excitement.
Yeah. Do you believe that the United States war involvement is critical for students to study?
I do. I think by learning U.S. history through the lens of the conflicts the United States has been involved in is a key to making sure we don't repeat history in the future. Learning why these wars started, what the outcomes were, who fought in them, what type of people fought in them, what were the tactics, who died, why did they die, etc. I think it's a good lesson for every war to be dissected and learned from. So then in the future, hopefully, the young people that are studying it, who will eventually be, voting and eventually be maybe politicians, can make better, more informed decisions to try and kind of reduce the amounts of war that we have.
Yeah, and do you think that after you served, that belief of, studying education or studying the war through your high school education and whatnot was enhanced at all?
It definitely made, I think I was interested in U.S. history, ever since I was little, and in middle school and in high school, starting with the Revolutionary War. It definitely made me want to learn more about kind of the foreign policy around different wars when I actually served. Why did we go initially to XYZ war and whatnot? So it did make me look a little deeper into things like the Vietnam War, for sure, and also a little bit about the war in Afghanistan, and then Iraq too. So since I've been out of the Army, I've learned a lot about those wars, and I probably wouldn't have dived as deep into if I wouldn't have served.
Gotcha. And mentally, once you returned home, what did you find to be the most challenging?
Well, I went from being under total control of being in the Army to having, total freedom. I could go wherever I wanted, do whatever I wanted, and I enrolled in college right away. And nothing really was that challenging after you've been to war and been in the Army compared to college. It was a lot easier. But what was something that was interesting is when you're deployed and when you're a soldier and when you're gone, you think that everyone back home is kind of stopped and waiting for you to get back. You think that the world is either revolving around you while you're on your deployment, or the world is kind of just waiting. And that's not the case. When you come back, you realize that all your high school friends are now in college and they have all new sets of friends. You realize that your family has gone on with life. Everything kind of continues on. And so when I got back, I thought that was interesting. I would catch myself thinking, man, life goes on as normal for everyone else except for the soldier while they're deployed. So it wasn't really challenging, but it was something definitely I thought about.
Yeah.